Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to discuss a concept known as reverse ETL that essentially is your data platform or data warehouse as a source. You can segment customer data then and push it into various destinations. In this particular case I'm going to take a look at Hightouch. You may have heard of it before. I in this case needed to look into it for a client that was interested in it. I'd heard about Hightouch for quite a while, but I was interested and I took this opportunity to get hands-on with it and to see how intuitive it was. In this video, I added a little box with my face in it while we were doing and talking through the Quickstart instructions. For whatever reason, that started to gradually fade out through the course of the tutorial. So don't be alarmed. It's nothing to do with your side of things. No idea what happened. I've put it in there anyway, and then when it fades out, it disappears off. So anyway, hope you find this video useful and get some good value from it. My name's Morton, and I've written a couple of books on Snowflake. I've also been lucky enough to speak in front of my peers on a number of occasions. I've lived and worked in the UK, Europe and Australia during my career, and today I'm on a mission to help as many people as I can fulfill their career potential by adding as much value as I can around data strategy and modern cloud data platforms. Okay guys, so if you want to follow along at home, we're going to use this Quickstart program which is available on the Snowflake website to run through. And we use the Partner Connect portal on Snowflake to enable us to do this. So let's get started by firstly logging into Snowflake itself. And the very first thing we're going to do is we need to prepare the audience within Snowflake and then use that to connect into Hightouch. So what we're going to do first of all, we're going to go to the Partner Connect portal under admin. If you're not familiar with the Partner Connect portal, this is where you can go to test out new tools and get an easy trial account that's integrated. So when I mean easy, it's integrated automatically with Snowflake, as you'll see in a second. So we go to admin, we go to Partner Connect, we're going to type in Hightouch. And this is what I mean by the ease of use. It's going to create the database, the warehouse, the roles that it requires, as well as any privileges that it needs to do its job. So we're going to click connect. You can see that we get an error because we need to provide and verify an email address to be used on this. And it tells us to go to preferences to add and verify the email address. So let's go into our profile. Okay, so now I've just updated my email. I wasn't actually getting the validation email through on the email address I had registered under my preferences. So I changed the email address. I got a new validation email. This is what it looks like. I'm going to click validate email. It takes me back through to the Snowflake login. For this I want to be able to use a different browser window where I've already got the login details saved already, which is this one here. Okay, so now I'm back in and I should be validated with an email address. I go back to Partner Connect, I go to Hightouch, and the reason why I'm showing you this is if you get the same issue, you know what to do if you get that same message come up. So now I get a different message, dialog box says partner account has been created. Click activate to go to Hightouch's website to finish the activation process and start loading data. So let's click activate. And we'll head to the Hightouch website, and I'm going to click login with Google. I'm going to use the account I've got within the browser that's set up. Moment, I'm going to agree to the terms of usage and usage sharing, and click connect. Now I'm going to put intelligent in for the name. I'm just going to let it pick a default one. I'm going to leave it as a US East one and create the workspace. So I'm going to go to the workspace. And now you can see I have Snowflake set up as a source and I have a destination which I need to add. But first of all, before we do that, we need to add some test data. So using the script provided on the Quickstart website, on Snowflake's website, I'm going to go back to grab the scripts, and I'm going to go back into Snowflake itself, into a new worksheet, and paste the initial bit in. So here we've got We're going to create a database schema and switch the context to use that database and schema. So let's highlight the lot, run those 3 statements. So that's now successful. If I wanted to check that, I can click objects here, and I can see I've got my Hightouch database here, which is got set up as part of the trial. I can also see that I've got, if I go to refresh, the Hightouch Quickstart database I've just created with the demo schema. Next, I need to create some customer and sales data. So let me just grab the script out and show you what that is doing. So it's generating some data here using these case statements. I haven't went into these before, but they're actually very handy to generate tables with information into for synthetic test data. So that is what it's doing here in the main part, and then creating some views to join that data together to provide an easy lookup, as it says here, for the customer sales data that needs to be provided as part of this demo. So first time I looked at that script, just a quick look of what it's doing and a quick explanation for you. And that is populating all of that test data. It says object customer sales does not exist or is not authorized. So let's just go down to here. And the reason for that is because everything else here is being qualified with the database and schema name, but this select statement hasn't. And because I'm in the demo schema, within the Hightouch Quickstart database, it doesn't recognize that object. If I fully qualify that, execute that select statement, now we get that. So again, I'm showing you these things in case you're just following along yourself on the Quickstart guide. I'm going to show you where you do come across certain errors that may not necessarily be obvious real time. I've never ran this before, so I'm doing it on the fly. So the final piece of code from the tutorial that we need to run is to grant select to Hightouch. So you can see here I'm granting select on that particular view, which joins that test data together. And I'm granting that privilege to select the view to the Hightouch role that was created as part of the Partner Connect. That's now ran successfully. So now what have we done there? We've connected Hightouch to our Snowflake as a source of our data. Remember, this is reverse ETL, so whereas Snowflake would usually be your target for data, in this case now Hightouch is using that and recognize that as a source on our account. We haven't configured any destination for Hightouch just yet, but we have created a database, a couple of objects with some synthetic test data in there, a view to join that together, and we validated that view there by selecting from it, and then we've granted select on the view to the Hightouch role. So now we're ready to move on to the next stage, where we're going to create the audience and configure the destination in Hightouch. In this instance, our destination for Hightouch is going to be Google Ads. So we can then connect to Google Ads by flipping back to the setup in here, and we're going to click add destination, and we're going to type in Google Ads. So I'm going to click Google Ads, and we're going to click where are we? Google Ads, and we're going to click finish. So now we've got Snowflake, which is moving into Google Ads. We need to go to continue setup now. So in the upcoming steps, it says you will connect your source, Snowflake tick. We've got a select from an example select statement, which is to set up a model. We're connecting to a destination, which is in this case our Google Ads, because this use case, don't forget, is to suppress sending marketing messages to certain audiences in Google Ads. Okay, so now we're back into the setup on Hightouch, and it tends to differ from the Quickstart tutorial on Snowflake's website. So I'm just going to kind of refer to the pages on the Quickstart tutorial, but also use this because it looks like Hightouch is the UI's been updated slightly. So I'm just going to follow through the steps. It seems pretty intuitive, but let's see how it goes. So we need to set up our model. So next, create a model for how your source data will be created, and you can see it's telling us that we've got 4 steps to do, and we're at number 2. So let's click setup model, and we can query with SQL. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flick back to Snowflake. I'm going to grab that select statement for the view out of there. Back into here, I'm going to enter my query. Let's beautify. I think that just formats it nicely for you. And you can test the query. So let's preview that. This obviously checks the connection is set up correctly. We should get the data coming back to us pretty soon. It's spinning up a virtual warehouse in the background. Let's go and check that out actually, just so I can show you what's happening there. So I've got warehouses. You can see I've got the Hightouch warehouse that was created as part of the Partner Connect trial. That's now started and it's active. And if I just go back to my worksheets again, back into Hightouch, now we can see that we've got our data coming back. So that looks good. We're going to click continue. We need to give it a model name. So I'm just checking the tutorial to see if it actually tells you if we're going to provide a model name at this stage to anything. Yeah, I think we are. And I'll just keep it consistent with the tutorial. And this is customer sales. It's asking me to choose the primary key, which in this case is user ID. And I'm going to leave the folder option as blank and click finish. So now I've got model customer sales was created. So we're connecting to our Snowflake database, we're executing that SQL query. Now we need to configure our destination. So if I click connect to Google Ads, now we go log into Google Ads. I'm just going to use my account that I've got here. Click continue to allow Hightouch to access those services. And click continue. And I'm just going to call it sample Google Ads destination, which is the same as the tutorial. Click finish. I'm not going to actually click configure sync. Yeah, I'm going to keep following the tutorial where I can on the Snowflake website. I'm going to go to audiences next. And now you can see that I need to unlock audiences to progress with this tutorial because it needs to have a business tier account. So after finding out I needed a higher level, a business account for Hightouch to be to allow me to enable the audiences within my Hightouch workspace, I needed to reach out to my contact at Hightouch here in Australia, Henry, and thankfully he was able to enable it for me. This is something really worth bearing in mind if you're running for the Quickstart yourself. You're using a trial account in the way that I showed you to set it up. You will not be able to proceed to create an audience unless you have that business level or business tier account in Hightouch. So now I've enabled that. You can see it's unlocked the audiences within the workspace. I can continue on with the actual Quickstart tutorial by creating an audience within the workspace to use as part of this setup. So if I go on to audiences, now the first thing I need to do is to be able to configure a parent model. So let's click on that. I pick my database, the Snowflake one I set up earlier. And now I'm presented with a few different options for setting up my parent model, query with SQL, select a table or view, or even import a model from dbt as well. And if you're interested in finding out more about dbt, I'll stick a link up in the video now, and you can take a look at that if you want more information. In this case, we're going to do select a table of view. And we're going to pick our customer sales table, which we created earlier in this video. We'll click preview. So take a look and make sure that the records are coming back. Which they are. I'm going to click continue. And note here you can name the model. So customer sales, define the primary key, which is user ID. We're also going to use a label, so an email in this case. and a secondary label, which is also mandatory. And we've got LTV dollars. So we'll click finish. So now we've got the parent model defined. We can now leverage Hightouch Easy Audience Builder to create an audience of customers, or segment if you like. So if I go back to audiences now, I can click add audience. I can pick my parent model customer sales, which I've just created from the table in Snowflake. And I can add the logic to segment those customers. So I can specify they have a property, so I can filter by a column in a table. I can also do various other conditions here. If they've got a relation, so basically filtering by the property in a related model. If they actually have an event associated with them, or if they're part of an audience already. So maybe they fell into an audience funnel. You may not want to try to advertise or market to them because they're already in an existing funnel. You may want to remove them from this particular segment. In this case, I'm going to go have a property. I'm going to then select a property, latest sale. And I'm going to select the criteria to be after the last 2 months. So now I can click preview to check what that looks like, to make sure that this segment of customers and customer detail coming back is anybody that's made a latest sale within the last 2 months. Now in this case, even though the Quickstart tells you to do the last 2 months, the data is obviously aged since the Quickstart program was put together. So I'm actually going to change this to 12 months. And I'm going to click preview again and refresh the results. And now I'm getting some results back. So I've got 40,000. Just under 40,000 results coming back. And you can see the emails that I'm getting back here. So I'm going to click continue. I'm going to give the audience a name, recent purchases, and I'm going to click finish. So now I've got my audience, I've got my model set up, customer sales. If I go back to my setup, you can see here, I've got my destination, my source, my model. I need to configure a synchronization. I kind of click here. So now I need to add the synchronization. Now this is where I am going to become a little bit stuck, because with my destinations, you can see I've set up a few different Google Ads accounts. Now I haven't really got an active Google Ads account associated with any of my email accounts at the moment, and I can't find a sample one anywhere to use. So even if I click into this one here, I test my connection. It does say connected. I have been able to connect to it through here, but going into the synchronization, picking the audience recent purchases, selecting that destination, I don't have the ad account set up that allows me to sync everything from my audience segment into Google Ads. But I'm sure you're getting closer to getting a good idea now how this would work, because this is the final step. So I obviously configure my source, my parent model, basically label the two fields that I want to use, told Hightouch what the primary key is as well. Then I've been able to basically create a destination, which is this one. If I actually had a fully fledged Google Ads account, that would work. I've segmented the data in Snowflake by creating an audience around anyone that's made a recent sale. In this case, we've had to change the 2 months that the Quickstart documentation told you to 12 months to be able to get some records coming back. And the final step is to synchronize everything on a regular frequency. And so in this case, if I was able to connect to that destination, we would pick a customer match list here, and we can then type a user, the user list I want to synchronize to. So here's some of the stuff that it's picked up at the moment. So it would be contact info for the email address. It would also then ask me, let's have a look, the columns that I would like to synchronize. So in this case, it would be the email from here to the email in Google Ads. I can provide some other details like a custom name for the user list, which is optional, and a lifespan for that list as well to automatically expire records. Notice that Hightouch can automatically try to detect if your data's got PII, so it will try to hash certain values, and that could be quite useful in a number of different use cases, as I'm sure you will agree. In a number of other aspects as well, like trying to clean phone numbers up. Obviously, that's very specific to the geography that you're in, to how you would be able to do that or leverage that functionality. If I click continue here, it doesn't let me continue because I can't connect up to the particular Google Ads account. But finally, you would move into the schedule and the configuration, and I'll just show you on the Quickstart screenshots. So this is where you'd be up to here, where you get your schedule type. You can either have it manually, and you can trigger that via the Hightouch dashboard and application we've just been using, or using the API, or on a regular interval, specify the frequency. But you can also do various other things like triggering the synchronization off the back of a dbt cloud job, or triggering a desynchronization on completion of a Fivetran job. Once you've set that up, then that's how you would be able to configure the concept known as reverse ETL, essentially taking data from your data platform or data warehouse, in this case Snowflake, segmenting that based upon certain criteria, and then pushing that into a range of SaaS products, in this case Google Ads account. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, keep watching, keep subscribing, and new videos come in very soon. You're looking to grow your skills this new year and looking to fulfill your career potential. Maybe you've been frustrated by being stuck in a dead-end job in your company, or your employer hasn't necessarily invested in you and you're stuck working with on-premise systems. Well, this is exactly why I designed this course, this program, Mastering Snowflake. My members join me and they've typically got 10 to 15 years experience in IT and data specifically. They've often got a lot of skills and experience that they've poured time and effort into over the years, and they want to be able to leverage that to the best degree. So they come to me, they're often quite confused about where to start. There's so many overlapping technologies out there, there's so many different buzzwords, and I want to really help you and these people cut through all of that marketing hype and really get a good understanding of how to design and deploy solutions for the cloud. I choose Snowflake because I find it really empowering to work with. It's really easy to get up and running. It's got a lot of good features and concepts as well. If you come in from an on-premise environment, will be really game-changing to you in terms of your day-to-day role. So I'm basically packaged up everything I've learned using Snowflake since 2017 across a range of implementations. I've now got a number of recipes, if you like, that allow you to take the out-of-the-box capabilities of Snowflake, package them up to address real-world business challenges. This will save you time and effort. All of the kind of mistakes and everything that I had to make initially to get to this point, you will be able to kind of fast-track yourself to that. So as part of the program itself, I provide all of the hands-on demos, the code I use, the code templates, and the patterns I use with my enterprise scale clients. You also get access to a exclusive members only group to get expert advice and share knowledge, not only around Snowflake, although we do have a number of obviously discussion points around Snowflake itself, and that could also include certification or interview guidance and advice, but we also include any tools and technologies around the modern data platform space, whether that be dbt, Matillion, Fivetran, Stitch, Elation, Outline, Power BI, Tableau, you name it. We've all got different experiences we can bring to the table. I also conduct live 60-minute group coaching calls, which are completely optional. And people from around the world turn up to those and ask me any questions, whether that be around technology, whether that be around data strategy, or architecture advice and guidance. Your investment in yourself in terms of getting into this program will continue to pay dividends to you, because obviously Snowflake is changing every single month, and all of those updates are fed back into the program periodically over time. So it's all being designed by myself from the ground up. It's very practical, it's very hands-on, provide in-depth background, not just around the theory, but with real-world case studies and then practical hands-on activities within each module. So if you're interested, this is what it looks like in terms of the course breakdown and the structure. You can apply. At the moment, we've opened the membership up for new applications. There's a link in the video description below. Please hit that link, apply to join. I'd love to have you as part of the program. The key thing for me is making sure you're the right fit and you're going to get the most amount of value from it. Thanks so much for listening. All the best on your Snowflake journey.